Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. Today we're going to be doing my mid-month wrap-up for January. The goal is any month that I have 5 or more reads completed by midway through the month, which was technically a couple days ago, but that's okay. I will do a mid-month wrap-up so that I don't have to remember so much about these books by the end of the month. I have 8 books that I've already completed this month, and I have ranked them from least favorite to favorite so far. So here's what I have read up until this point in January. First off, I have a epistolary novel, Letters from Sky by Jessica Brockmole. This has been on previous recommendations carts for me, and so it's been one that I've been eager to get to. And the reason it is at the bottom of the pile is because it had an unapologetic adultery situation. We follow these 2 people who are writing letters back and forth, and it might be spoilery, but I don't even care, because for those of us who don't like to read adultery stories, then this is not the book for you, and I need you to know that. I think it wanted us to understand and relate to these 2 people, but as soon as I discovered where we were going, that it wasn't just going to be a friendship, that we were going into the romance area of these 2, I just was like, no, it didn't sit well with me. I did not appreciate it, and unfortunately I finished it, but I didn't care for it. It just left me with a bad taste in my mouth. As much as I love epistolary novels, that one was not it. Also not it for me this month was The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint. I'm not going to try to say his last name. A classic, short, translated from French story that so many people love. I don't have any nostalgia attached to this because I just read it for the first time and I didn't get it. I just felt dumb. When I finished, I feel like there's more that I should be getting from this story that I'm just not understanding. And so I didn't like the story of it. I didn't like the main character. I didn't like that there was metaphors, I'm sure, and things that it was talking about culture and people. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. And I didn't think it was cute. Sorry if that's a favorite of yours. Next up, I have a series, the third in a series. This is from my Flip and Roll TBR. It's The Castle of Lear by Lloyd Alexander. This is book 3 in the Chronicles of Prydain series. I need to keep going in the series because book 5 is a Newbery winner. Unfortunately, I'm not really enjoying the series overall. They're fine. Maybe because I'm waiting too long in between books. That might be part of it. They're very short. Maybe 4.5 to 5 hour audiobooks, really not very long audiobooks. And that's how I'm listening to them. I still never found my set. I couldn't find them during my Flip and Roll TBR, and I haven't really looked anymore for them, but I know they're here somewhere. I feel like the story takes me too long to get into. I am enjoying it by the end, but I ultimately don't care. And if I didn't need to keep going to get through book 5, which is a Newbery winner, and I'm going to read all the Newbery winners, this is a series I would probably DNF. It's fun, fantastical, quick. I'm sure when I was younger, I would have enjoyed it more than I do now. There are some quirky characters. There are points that make me chuckle a little bit, laugh a little bit, but ultimately it's just an okay fantasy series for me. Take it or leave it, I would say. Then I had a hold come in on my Libby for The Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict. It was just a 3-star read for me. Some very unlikable characters, which if you know me, I just really like to have characters to root for and that I really love. And this one had an inheritance games feel to it. Lily is our main character, and she grew up in this family ancestral home of Endgame, and she hasn't been back to the house since her mom passed away. But her aunt left her some clues and messages that there may be something sinister about her mother's death. And then her aunt dies as well. And now the cousins, her estranged cousins and Lily, are there to kind of race to the finish, solve the clues, figure out the answers so that they can win the inheritance of this house, win the home itself. So there are keys and clues along the way, puzzles to figure out, but I didn't like the characters. And so it's just going to be a 3-star read for me, but it was fun. Family secrets. mystery, I guess. Another fun mystery that I read this month was my Patreon pick for the month, and it's the Agathas YA mystery. It takes place in a small town where class is a big deal. So there are very wealthy people in this town and those who aren't so wealthy. Well, one of the very wealthy girls dies pretty early on, and our main character is someone who went missing sort of in the same vein as Agatha Christie. Nobody really knows where she went. She just shows back up, and she is the one that's now determined to figure out what happened to her ex-best friend, who's the one that died. She is also kind of partnered up with a girl from the wrong side of the tracks, if you will, who is working as her tutor to earn money for reasons that she is not disclosing to everyone at the time, but we know as the reader. So these two girls kind of partner up, discover that they have quite a bit more in common than they would have initially thought, and a slight friendship develops between them by the end. And it was a lot of fun. Very YA, very angsty, very eye-rolly at times. Of course, the cops are all corrupt. And of course, these two teenagers and some of their friends are going to be able to solve this mystery when none of the adults are able to. And the adults are all kind of messed up. Definitely a lot of messed up adults in this book. And it deals with some tough issues, domestic violence and drug use and this class differentiation. So it was a fun read. I couldn't put it down while I was reading it, but it's not necessarily one that I would be like, oh my word, you need to read the Agathas. So take that for what you will. Another one that I feel very similarly about is another YA historical fantasy called Romanov by Nadine Brandes. Look at that gorgeous cover. Oh my word. This was on my Flip and Roll TBR and is a self-destruct book for this year. So this is one that I really wanted to get to this year, and I'm glad that I read it. However, I was much more interested in the historical side of things than the fantasy side of things. It was there, it was fine, but I was really interested so much more in the historical elements. And I do think the fantasy side of things kind of took over. Talking about the Russian Revolution and the Bolsheviks, and ultimately the Bolsheviks were out to find the spellcasters. I don't know. I just wanted more about the Romanovs and why the father abdicated the Tsar position that he had, and more about them. The whole fantasy side of things, I just didn't really care for. So it was okay. Another 3 stars. So far we're all at 3-star reads. We have not moved up the ladder until now. With 4 stars, I loved another Susanna Kearsley, The King's Messenger. Now, this is another historical that had a little bit of that fantastical element, because our main character, The King's Messenger, is somebody who he had like a foresight, or he would receive these visions of something that was going to happen in the future. And he didn't really know the context of that vision and how that was all going to play out, but it helped him in a lot of different circumstances. So he is in England, the King's Messenger. He is sent to Scotland to retrieve this dude who is going to be on trial for killing the prince. And this man that he has to go get was the prince's companion. He has to bring a scribe with him, and the scribe's daughter, who they are all in the same community. And there's like a tense friction between the King's Messenger and the scribe's daughter. I just really enjoyed this. It's set in the early 1600s, so we're dealing with Scottish-English tension, the court and the king's court, the tension even between the king and the queen, and their different takes on the situation. I don't know. I just really enjoyed this very much. I love Susanna Kearsley. I find all of her books to be very, very good, and I look forward to reading more from her. And the first book that I finished this year was a reread, so one of my 12 books that I would like to reread this year, and that was The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaefer and Annie Barrows. Again, I loved this book, 5 stars. I thought it was fantastic. It is another epistolary novel, so it's written in letters, and we follow Juliet, who is a journalist, as she begins correspondence with a number of different people on the Isle of Guernsey, is so intrigued by their story and about their experience during World War II as the Nazis occupied the island of Guernsey and what that meant for all of these different people. It started to move her so much that she decided to go to Guernsey herself so that she could write a story about this group who had joined together to make the Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. I love that this was a World War II novel that didn't feel super heavy, even though there were definitely some heavy aspects to this book. There was also a lightness to it. There were some quirky characters. I loved watching Juliet develop these friendships with the different people on Guernsey, and then her falling in love with the island of Guernsey itself once she gets there. So I just really enjoyed this book, and it probably isn't the last time that I will reread it in my lifetime. I just really love it. It's one of my favorites. And that is what I have read so far this month. That is quite a bit. Most of them are pretty short. Almost all of them were audiobooks, actually. All of them. Nope, The Little Prince was not an audio. Everything else was an audiobook. How has your reading month been going so far? I have been participating in Epistolary January, obviously. 2 of the books that I read were Epistolary, and I'm in the middle of another. And also, Cozy Reader Kelly has another readathon that I will put the name of it down here, but the focus is to read short books in January. So I would say that The Little Prince fits that. The Castle of Lear fits that. And even Guernsey is a pretty short book as well. I'm participating in 2 different readathons, sort of, lightly, not following any prompts or anything, just kind of doing my own thing. It's been a great month so far. I'm really pleased with the amount of reading I've done and what I've been reading, even though the majority of the books I've read so far haven't been fantastic. I have been enjoying it. I hope your month of reading has been going really well. And I would love to chat with you down in the comments about anything that you've been reading so far, or if you have read any of these and think the same or differently from me, that's totally fine. We can still get along and be friends. And if you've made it to the end, but you're not feeling chatty, go ahead and leave a pen or paper for the letters. Is there one together? Pen and paper together? I don't know what kind of emojis they have, but pen or paper or writing of some sort for Epistolary January. Leave that in the comments just to let me know that you are here. And that's going to be all for me today. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your day with me. I really appreciate you for being here, and I look forward to chatting with you in another video very soon. Bye.